Assignment 2, EDC 1200 Multimedia Presentation. Hello, my name is Hayley, and I have chosen to talk about the newspaper article titled Called to Move Australia Day. In this article, the Tasmanian Aboriginal Centre State Secretary Leader, Nala Mansell McKenna, believes that by celebrating Australia Day on the 26th of January is an act of racism, and that there could never be reconciliation between white Australians and Indigenous Australians while Australia Day continues to be celebrated on this day, a day that Aboriginals mark as a day of mourning, as it was on that day back in 1788 when the first fleet arrived on the Australian shores and took control away from the Aboriginal people. In the words of Nala Mansell McKenna, to us it marks the start of assimilation, land theft, murder, poisoning and death. Mansell McKenna makes a good point by asking, how would it be if we, Indigenous Australians, celebrated Anzac Day as the day 8,000 fewer white Australians came home? The article then goes on to talk about Mick Dodson, the 2009 Australian of the Year recipient. Mick Dodson asked the Prime Minister for Australia Day to be moved from the 26th of January to another date whilst he was receiving his award. His reasons for the day to be changed are so that Aboriginal people would feel as though Australia Day would be a day of celebration rather than one of mourning. Prime Minister Rudd made it very clear that there is no intention to change the date in which we celebrate being Australian. Some supporters of Dodson's proposal are former Australian cricketer Adam Gilchrist, who is quoted as saying, "What we look for in our leaders is inspiration and people to challenge us, and you're certainly doing that." This was made by Gilchrist at the Australia Day citizenship ceremony in Canberra. Another is former football legend Ron Barassi. This movement to change the date of Australia Day is becoming increasingly more relevant to the process of reconciliation since Kevin Rudd apologised to the Indigenous people for past wrongs in his famous sorry speech on behalf of the Australian Government in February 2009. This change would be meaningful strategy to demonstrate the maturation in the Australian population of understanding that the impact of settlement has had on the first Australians, and the recognition that, as one nation, cultural diversity and understanding is crucial to the future racial harmony in Australia. As a teacher, I would start by talking to students about the First Fleet and the arrival of white men to Australia. I would go through a quiz to see how much they actually know about Aboriginal people. I would then use the holistic planning framework, which can be found in the Embedding Indigenous Perspectives website. I would have the students complete a table where they looked at the perspective from a settler's perspective, and I would have them complete the same table from an Aboriginal perspective. As a whole, we would then compare both perspectives and summarise the points of view in a table looking at the similarities and differences between Indigenous and non-Indigenous viewpoints. Why do this? By doing this, I would hope to create an understanding as to why the Aboriginals believe that the 26th of January is a day of mourning and not a day to celebrate being Australian. As a teacher, I would hope to achieve that by building up background knowledge of the students, it would assist them in their compassion and understanding of past and present issues facing Aboriginal people. With this background and understanding, they can make an informed decision on whether or not we should, as a nation, should change the day we celebrate. For more information on embedding Indigenous perspectives, please go to the following website.